All right, welcome back to Making Picks. My name is Nathan. I'm joined here with Mark. What's going on, Mark? You ready to make some picks this afternoon?
Yep, I'm ready.
All
Spent,
right.
spent a couple times, I guess, a couple different days, really just thinking about how this game kind of going to play out here. But we got a lot of stuff to kind of get through. We got plenty of time before we start diving into the Super Bowl.
Yep, absolutely. So why don't you go through why people should be listening to the show?
I got cash, man. I got cash that I'm looking to give away this week. Or actually, I have more cash to give away this week here. But if you don't listen to the show, if you don't follow us on social media, do all that kind of fun stuff here that both Nathan and I will review throughout the course of this little program here, not going to have an opportunity to win. So, got an opportunity for you guys to win cash, and for the majority of it, I mean, it's really just I don't know, doing a couple different little interactions on social media and playing a different form of fantasy sports called statement games.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump into some hot topics for this week. I could think of a couple, but what do you want to hit on first?
Sure, boy. We talked about it last week here. If you want to pull up, I got a couple little visuals and things like that here. But go ahead. Why don't you kick it off and say goodbye to Matthew Stafford once and for all, and say hello to Jared Goff.
Yeah, this is a very interesting deal that got finished pretty much after our show last week. I had kind of said that something was coming. I thought it was going to be with San Francisco. I think I put it at like 8 out of 10 for how confident I was. Apparently, that wasn't as they weren't as close in that deal as I thought, but he didn't go to the Colts. He ends up going to LA, which I think he had a lot of pull and push because he vetoed both a possible Patriots deal and a possible Panthers deal so that he could go. I mean, who wouldn't want to live in LA? You know, especially the end of his career, he gets to have an awesome mansion in probably Malibu or something, and I'm sure Kelly Stafford is excited for the ability to live in LA. But yeah, I mean the Lions get a couple of first round picks. They get some later round picks, and then they get Jared Goff, which is a guy that I didn't really want. I still don't really want him, but it looks like he's going to be our guy for at least the next 2 years. Um, and in the sense of a rebuild, it's not terrible. The way this whole deal has played out. Jared Goff has a huge contract, which is not something you usually want to take on in a rebuild. But over the course of the next year or two, it pretty much goes down to a point like we could cut him after the season for almost no money, which is a good position to be in. Then we've got the first round picks are for 2022 and 2023, and it gives the current incoming administration the year to kind of start evaluating the team and get everything get their people set up as far as scouting and all that kind of stuff, and not bungle whatever first round draft pick they would have gotten in a couple months. So I understand it. I get it. It's a long haul rebuild. People that are saying that this is going to be a turnaround right away, they don't understand football and they don't understand the salary cap or contracts. The Lions team that's going to be fielded this year might be the worst team that possibly has been fielded since the 0-16 team. To be honest, they're not going to have much. So, and that a lot of that has to do with the fact that Jared Goff's contract is just outrageous and takes up a whole lot of space. So, I imagine we're going to be getting some high draft picks next year. So, got to take the long game.
All right, I'm looking at it from a different kind of perspective here. I'm fascinated by this story, to be honest with you. And I'm looking at it from a little bit of a entertainment set of eyeballs here. And this is what really kind
Okay.
of like it rubs me the wrong way, or kind of like pisses me off, right?
All right.
You got Sean McVay, right? Young coach comes in, starts coaching the Rams. His first year was the 2017 season. You have kind of like Jared Goff, number one selection, 2016 draft. These guys are freaking frack buddies, kind of like if you want to call it like that here. Now, upon seeing I mean, it's it's not like McVay is that much older than Goff, right? McVay is
Yeah.
still kind of like in his 30s. You trade your boy, or you kind of like the prodigal son of the Rams. The ink isn't even dry on the trade contract yet, and you're out in Cabo, Mexico, having dinner with Stafford and his wife. I mean, is that not like I don't know. If I was Goff, I would become like a little insulted. I understand it's a business and things like that here, but if this was kind of like in a reality TV show here, this would be kind of like front and center for weeks here. And I kind of like feel like that storyline is just being brushed under the rug. It's sports.
Yeah.
It's the business side of things here. This is kind of like what happens here. Trades kind of like happen, But this is like an episode right out of.
I mean, throw it. You can even throw some more drama in here.
This is what I'm saying. This is drama.
Yeah. Right. No, there's totally.
If I'm Goff, I'm pissed off.
And I know.
So hey, sure, dude, you're my boy here. You're my coach. You not only trade for me here. It's like all right, our little 3-year relationship. I helped bring you to a fucking Super Bowl. Yeah. Now you're out, kind of having dinner with the guy who's kind of like replacing me. This is like a bad breakup. Is the way I'm looking at it. I feel bad for Goff.
Yeah, so it comes down to, from what I've heard, McVay and Goff really. You can point the breakup to this season when Goff had the finger injury and he was willing to be active but wasn't willing to start. And so essentially from McVay's point of view this was in the playoffs. This is leave it all on the field time.
Yeah.
If you're available, put your all into it. And Goff essentially said to McVay, I'm not 100%. I don't want to start. But when his backup went down, he was willing to come onto the field and I think won that first playoff game. And I think that led to McVay souring on Jared Goff. And that might have led to this whole trade.
It could be. Again, it's speculation. I personally don't believe it. I mean, I don't know, I'd like to think at some particular level I'm competing in various different things, even from like a business perspective here. And
yeah,
I'd like to think that wasn't necessarily the mindset. But with that said, here there is, I guess, some rumblings kind of around it, because I kind of like heard that one of the main reasons as to why kind of Goff is actually being traded is that he was more interested in living almost like the LA lifestyle with the supermodel Instagram kind of girlfriends, not necessarily having the Tom Brady approach here, and where you're 2,000% completely dedicated to the sport of football and honing kind of your craft here. And if that's the particular case, I kind of understand it. I don't necessarily buy it. I want to kind of see some more out of it. I don't think that we've heard the end of this story, even if it kind of trickles into the beginning of the next year here. But if it's not particularly true, if I was Goff, I'd freaking run over to the other sideline and punch McVay right dead square in the face if I'm Detroit Lions quarterback.
You will
playing
see
the Rams for the first time.
how that
that's the type of stuff that I want to see.
next this coming season, Detroit goes to LA and plays them on the home field in LA.
Right in the face. I'm punching him right in the face. Whatever. We'll see what happens.
I think a lot of this, this is probably, there's been rumblings of, Goff loving the LA lifestyle and everything, more than football. That's been around for a while. And I think that's kind of like a nag. And then you just get the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing in this playoffs, and the fact that like he hasn't been the greatest, and generally McVay has to kind of coach around him and around his faults to get them to be able to advance the ball down the field and everything. Like there's a lot that McVay has to do. There was a great article. I think it was
And this is why I don't really kind of buy into that much. And I think this picture literally paints kind of a thousand words. But again, if we look right here, if that's the particular case, why is this team slapping a captain's kind of label right there kind of square on his jersey? And he's kind of had it for a while. So if they had all these negative kind of flaws kind of against him,
I mean,
why is he the captain of the team?
He's still a quarterback that took the team to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
And I feel like a lot of times quarterbacks just generally get captain. How many times you see captain really stripped? You got Dwayne Haskins this year that was stripped of his captaincy because he publicly went out and broke COVID protocols to go to a strip club. Multiple reasons for why he was basically on the verge and then got cut from the team. Like such drastic measures have to come to remove a captain's patch from a quarterback that, I don't think it's just like to me, it's just an automatic thing. Your quarterback's going to be captain, maybe not his rookie year.
Question. I want to look into that. That's a very kind of interesting question. I want to know how many NFL teams are there whose starting quarterback is not the captain of their team? Because I think we need to revisit the whole captaincy, label and things like that, because it's bullshit.
Well,
leader
but your quarterback
team,
should be the leader of your team.
Things over here, and I don't know, because the guy supposedly didn't want to actually start in a playoff game here. We're just going ahead and jumping ship here. Like this is not a third round draft pick. This is not kind of like a journeyman here. I mean, you as an organization, you drafted him, and you gave up a lot too.
They jumped over Patty Mahomes to get Goff.
Correct. So I don't know if I was the CEO of the Rams here, some people would, and they probably already did, but I'd have some questions that I would like some answers to.
Yeah, absolutely. But Stafford going there is going to be interesting. I really want to see, because I mean, if you're talking about someone who's not going to give up, I mean, how many clips are there of Stafford? There's a clip that was playing almost on repeat of his Browns game early in his career where he got absolutely wrecked, and I believe broke something. I dislocated his shoulder, I think it was. Came back, played the next snap, and threw the game-winning touchdown. Like this is a guy that, while early in his career got a bad rap for being injury prone, has more often than not played even with injuries and succeeded. He was said to have a back injury, the lingering back injury flaring up at the end of this past season, and went and played a full Week 17 game because, I mean, he knew that was it. That was his last game in Detroit, and he wanted to make the most of it. So definitely congrats for Stafford for going someplace where he's definitely probably going to win a Super Bowl. We could be talking about this next year, and for Goff, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm not getting that jersey.
You got the draft, you got the offseason. Kind of like, let's see how this whole thing plays out here. But I think we got some other things that we need to, get through and things like that. Pretty big game coming up on Sunday. Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So before we kind of spend some time on that and making picks here, do you actually have a favorite Super Bowl memory or play or whatever it may? What's the, when you think like the Super Bowl, what's the biggest thing that kind of sticks out in your mind here from all your years of watching the game?
Yeah, the biggest thing that comes to mind is just really just getting together with my friends and having a Super Bowl party, usually at one of my buddies' places. it just brings together, wings and like home cooked like food. We do it potluck style usually, and it, this year it's not going to be because of Corona.
Yeah.
So that's one memory that is just going to be a memory for this year. But um, as far as like a play or anything like that, I would say really going back to the last Giants win over the Patriots, when that was to me the most exciting um, win in Super Bowl. The watching history that I've been doing, because that was a team getting over the Patriots. I didn't like the Patriots, and so I can't really point to the Atlanta Falcons like just complete breakdown, because that was wild. But Giants getting over Tom Brady, Eli winning that game, probably a really good moment for me.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of like point that I just, since the game is in Tampa, for me, being a little bit older, you can't really, help but think back to that wide right game. So
Mhm.
that's the one thing that kind of like, sticks out to me. But we got a lot of, Super Bowl stuff to kind of like, talk about and get through. We'll have some fun with it here. If you're watching this program here, go ahead, just drop a little comment below here. Let us know kind of like, what your favorite Super Bowl moment happened to actually be over the past, years or so. And it's a little sad that it's officially the end of the 2020 NFL season. But in the way this kind of like, this whole thing works, Super Bowl is going to be back front and center sooner rather than later. I mean, it's not going to be that much longer before. I'm not even. I guess we can kind of like, talk about that in future shows and things like that. But you're gonna have combines. There's going to be more
Mhm.
stuff that you can shake a stick at here when it comes to the NFL draft. Um, Draft will kind of like, be here. OTAs. I mean, are they going to have OTAs? I think they will have it this
Yeah.
year. So we'll have to
Yeah,
see what happens.
everything's
There's going to be plenty of football stuff to cover and talk about in the upcoming months here. It might be like a little bit slow once you get through this Super Bowl and you spend a good week and a half dissecting and talking about the game here. Before you know it, you get through a little college basketball and March Madness, but then again, you'll start getting into OTAs, the draft and training camp, and boom, kick off again, brand new season. So
Mhm.
be patient. We'll be back, and as always, we'll continue to have fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. So what else we got? You
That's it. You can
wanna
take the visuals
transition
off
to
here,
you?
and it's gonna be us. The whole kind of like way through here. So let's get into it, man. We got some picks
Yeah.
to kind of like make here. I know that I've been kind of like looking at this game. I got some pretty strong opinions of what's going to take place during the Super Bowl. You got some weather things that you got to factor into the occasion. But before we get into the official pick making process here, let's just go ahead and take a little look at how we did last week.
Yeah.
So no NFL in action, no championship games, no divisional playoff games, no regular season games here. Week off of the NFL, no Pro Bowl. Not that we would make picks around like that game anyway, but
Right.
we did have a primetime basketball game Saturday, ABC, between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Both kind of like did pretty well. I'm 2 for 3 with my picks. You're 2 for 3 either with your picks here. When you look back at that game here, I had Anthony Davis over 8.5 rebounds. That was correct. He had 14. I had the Boston Celtics over 8.5 steals. That was also correct. They had 10. Um, Also had the Boston Celtics over 110 points, which was incorrect. They had 95. You were correct in picking the Lakers would win. Picked that out by the skin of your teeth. Lakers wound
Right.
up winning 96-95. So obviously, from a Boston perspective, 95 is not going to get you over the 110 hump. But
Yep.
the 1 point Laker win was a correct pick in the Nathan column. You did have Jason Tatum over 26.5 points. That was correct. You had 30. You were wrong in the fact that you had LeBron James having a triple double.
Yeah.
That was incorrect. He had 21 points, so you got the double there, but only 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 0 steals, and 1 block shot. Good stuff.
He was
When you
close.
take a look
Yeah.
at the total, so the total for the year so far now is Mark 16 for 24, 66.6%. same percentage point as last week, so no change from a percentage perspective on my end. You, however, are officially now 500, if you want to call it, in baseball kind of like a lingo.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Still, 4 games behind in the loss column, but 12 for 24. Now making picks at a correct percentage rate of 50%, which is up a couple of percentage points from last week, in which we were at 47.6%. So, from a making picks perspective, that kind of like sets the table as we segue into officially the Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
I didn't want to spend a lot of time in terms of setting the stage for this game here. It's the Super Bowl. It's the biggest freaking game of the year. You got the up-and-coming star, rising star of the NFL and Patrick Mahomes against the old, do I dare say, GOAT in Tom Brady. Hey, this is the big one. This is the big game. So let's kick it back over to you for your general thoughts on the Super Bowl this Sunday.
Yeah, so I guess you could say this is the GOAT versus the baby goat, or the future goat.
I hate the freaking word goat. Makes no sense. Anyway, we covered that last week.
But yeah, I mean, this is going to be an exciting game. If you go back to they played each other earlier in the season, where Tyreek Hill had 7 catches for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, before Tampa Bay finally figured out how to stop them. I believe Kansas City still won that game, but it was close towards the end. And this one's going to be different. They're going to be playing possibly in the rain. So there, last I saw was a 75 chance of showers. So that could make this very interesting. As one of the things, like, I wish this wasn't a dome, because weather-wise, that just really puts a damper on both teams, to be honest. You've got, both teams have really good air attacks with Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. If you run it down to just like running game, it really evens things out. I would probably say that Tampa Bay can win this if, this rain becomes a major factor. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I obviously, like, I'm wearing Mahomes jersey. Kansas City's my second team, even though you don't like that I say that.
Second favorite.
I want them to win. But I guess I wouldn't be super disappointed if Tom Brady pulled something crazy off, like going to a team with a really bad record and taking them to the Super Bowl in one season and winning it. So I don't know. But I think that when we get into our picks, we're definitely going to be going on the side of this rain possibly affecting things.
I mean, we could. I'm looking at it. I'm not going to make picks with the weather as a kind of major factor. I mean, both teams gonna have to play in it here.
Yeah.
Even with weather being a factor here, and I think we touched upon this in other little segments as well here. I really don't see either team getting away from kind of who they are. There might be some adjustments from, I guess, a play calling perspective, but it's not like I'm envisioning Kansas City running the ball more than 13 times over the course of the Super Bowl. This is what this team does here. Shorter passes, things from within the pocket, kind of from Mahomes. I don't buy into the fact that he is nursing a lingering kind of injury. I've learned my lesson kind of from last week. He's had time to heal. Whatever it is that kind of happens here, even if it is lingering, they'll be freaking in that locker room, stuffing him with so many different shots and medicine and things like that. Well, he won't feel a thing for at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours to get him through like this game here. This is it. So I really don't see anything changing significantly between who these kind of teams are. I'm all over Kansas City this week. I think that will actually show as we go ahead and make our picks here. I mean, you kind of even said it before here. I mean, you have a team that's gone 23-2 in their past, year and a half full of games here. granted they're 2.5, 3-point favorites as well as they should be here, but this whole notion that they're ready to be beat and how this old ball bag by the name of Tom Brady is gonna upset the Kansas City Chiefs here. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. So I'm all over Kansas City this week here. I see a blowout. I don't see a competitive kind of game at all. And with that said here, I think, my sentiment will be shown with the picks that I'm about to make here and the reasons as to why I'm making them.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've been doing a pretty good job with our picks at this point. I think I've shut down the haters, the people coming at me for being sub 500 with my picks for this year. It only took me 4 weeks to get out of that.
Little bit of a look. There's 12 months out of the year. A little bit of a slow start in the first month.
Yeah, I had to spot you some picks. That's what it is. But what do you got to say to the people that hate or the people that come after us for picks?
Just understand that if you're messing with us, not only are you messing with us, but you're messing with.
All right. So before we jump into the sponsor for this game, Mark, why don't you just go into give a breakdown of how to play?
Yeah, sure. So statementgames.com, or go ahead and download the Statement Games Fantasy Sports app within your favorite kind of app store, Google Play or iOS. But go ahead. It's a free-to-play game. You want to enter into the Super Bowl contest between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What we go ahead and do is we're going to present you with a list of props, game props, as well as player props that are specific to the Super Bowl. Your job is to review the list, pick 10 of them. As you make your 10 picks, rank them in order of confidence from 10 through 1. As the Super Bowl plays out, if your number 10 pick becomes correct, you're going to get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, you just have a total of 10 points. You'll play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people, and the person with the most points from correct picks wins. You're playing for free. You're trying to finish in first, second, or third in any Super Bowl contest that we have posted. In doing so, you will accumulate Statement Games coins, which can be exchanged for a cash gift card of your choice. There's about 80 to 85 different retailers within the Statement Games Rewards program: Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Nike, Under Armour, NFL Shop, Amazon. Simply exchange those coins for a cash gift card of your choice. So let's just call this opportunity number 1 on how you can win some cash by playing a free-to-play alternative form of fantasy sports this Sunday for the upcoming Super Bowl.
Yep, absolutely. And this particular contest is sponsored by Into the Labs podcast. Ernest Silva, sports updates, news, trends, and analytics in the NBA and NFL. Connect with this show and others on Blue Collar Media, bluecollarmg.com/into the lab. That link will be in the show notes. Also follow Statement Games on Twitter and Facebook at Statement Games. Mark loves to award money, and we'll be sending some out this weekend throughout the Super Bowl. Anything else up for grabs there, Mark?
Yeah, so basically go ahead and this is not necessarily, as a result of playing the game here. This is just by interacting and following us on social media. So you want to follow us here. We're going to have some little, let's just call them social media games and contests, and where we're just going to be awarding gift cards to people who are following Statement Games on social media. We'll have some fun with them.
Awesome. So with that, let's jump into the picks. Let's start off with you. What do you got for your number 1?
Well, I guess before we go ahead and do that, also keep in mind that this particular tournament here, there's an additional 5,000 additional Statement Games credits or coins that are up for grabs to VIP members who become the overall tournament winner. If you're not a VIP member, this is kind of special for this week and this week only. Mm-hmm. If you are the overall tournament winner and you're not a VIP member, we'll automatically opt you into a free 1-year VIP membership for Statement Games for the upcoming year. And an additional 2,500 credits will be added to your account as well. So everybody has an opportunity to win this one. So let's just call this opportunity number 3. I'm sorry, 2.5 on how you can actually win playing Statement Games this weekend here. So for this particular week here, I'm really going to make this first pick here because I know it's going to piss you off, and I know that you've kind of been all over it. I'm also
Mhm.
going to have a conversation with some of the guys who are running the behind the scenes platform on statement games here because this is wrong. This is completely off. This is a joke. Weather, no weather, it doesn't really kind of matter. First particular pick, I'm expecting a big game, and there's no reason as to why you should be thinking otherwise. Travis Kelce over 6.5 receptions here. He'll have 8 at a minimum, and I would have actually. I'm shocked that that line is not 7.5, 8.5 on
Right.
Travis Kelce for the Super Bowl here. You're getting an absolute fucking steal at 6.5 with this one here. So I'm jumping all over it. You've made the mistake again of giving me the opportunity to pick first.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it. Travis Kelce over 6.5 receptions. Lock it in.
All right. So I like to do the same thing as far as take advantage of something that is kind of broken with the site. Anytime that I have the opportunity to take a running back that only needs to score one touchdown and it's the main running back, I mean, how many opportunities are there where a team is on the goal line and the first thing they do is they run with the running back. So at the very minimum, I've got multiple 50-50 shots throughout this game of getting this one touchdown. And Leonard Fournette going back to the well over half a touchdown.
You've done well with that over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Just jotting that down. Cool.
All right. What do you got?
I'm going to stick with the running back category. And I really don't see Kansas City running the ball more than 13, 14 kind of times, during this game, whether kind of no weather here. This is a running team. All the stops for the Super Bowl, sticking with the team strength here. Kansas City is a passing team. Andy Reid does not like to run the ball at all. So with that in mind here, give me Clyde Edwards and Darrell Williams under 65.5 rushing yards total.
All righty. That's an interesting one. I definitely yeah, let's go with it. So with mine, I mean, look, you've got an opportunity at the goal line. I don't care which side you're on. Um, you're gonna run it. Now, this one I don't think is as locked in because Darrell Williams has been the hot hand. But I have seen multiple opportunities where both Clyde Edwards-Helaire on one set of down, one drive gets the goal line look, and then on a different drive, it's Darrell Williams. So they're splitting that time down there. So while I don't like it as much as Fournette, I do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire over half a touchdown because it's just so easy, to get
Well, you're
that.
getting a touchdown, and that could be rushing or passing. I
Yeah.
honestly don't think Kansas City will run the ball. I don't think they'll run the ball once until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's how confident I am. But again, you are getting it from a rushing or passing kind of perspective by going ahead and making that pick.
Right. Absolutely. All right. What do you got?
I'm just going to fire over my next two. I'll let you kind of make the decision on which one you want to go ahead and take. I mean, both of them are automatic locks, so to me, it really doesn't kind of matter.
Yep.
This game is a blowout. There is not going to be extensive competition, especially on behalf of Tampa Bay, stopping the Kansas City offense here. So I'm taking Kansas City over 30.5 points. I'm also taking Kansas City to win the game by over 3.5 points. So go ahead and make one of those picks, one of my third and kind of final pick to lock in here, and then utilize the one of the fourth picks as my bonus pick. You gotta have a bonus pick. It's the Super Bowl, so
Yep.
that's what I'm kind of looking at.
All right. So I'm going to lock in the win by over 3.5 points. See, in my eyes, I'm seeing this weather becoming a problem. So I like that one a little more. And then we'll put the over 30.5, just in case something happens, it's a little less damage. And it's at 4 there. And so I'll go with my last two. Obviously threw in a bonus pick here too, and I'm going on the defensive side for both of these.
Okay.
Kansas City lost their left tackle. Their blind side tackle is out with an ACL. So we saw what Tampa was able to do the last time they took the field in 4 sacks against Aaron Rodgers. I think that can happen with Patty Mahomes just as well. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Where is it? Here it is. Tampa Bay defense over 2.5 sacks. I'll lock that one in. And then, Tom Brady in that same game threw 3 picks. And, if weather's an issue and the Chiefs get up and Brady's got to force it, I don't see why Kansas City couldn't get over 1.5 turnovers. This also includes fumbles. So, wet ball, that kind of thing. It does affect, and I think it's a good chance. So we will lock in. We will do the last 2 off air just so that we do have some competitive advantage. If you see us, if you're playing in the contest and you see SG Live, just know that you're playing against Mark and I as a team. The Making Picks episode. So we're gonna try and do what we can to secure a top spot if possible with this lineup. So what do you think? How confident are you, Mark, with
I'm feeling kind of pretty good. So just so that we're clear, bonus picks count towards the 2021 picks totals, right?
Yes.
Or okay, all right.
Yep. Let's do it.
Look, I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident here. I mean, I know that weather is becoming like a little bit of a storyline as we're getting towards the tail end of the week and we're getting a little bit closer to game time. But unless it's an absolute monsoon or some type of tornado or anything like that here, I really don't see anything slowing down Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs here. I mean, this team has basically lost 2 games in the past 2 years, and now they're kind of hearing some chirping about how vulnerable they are and how Tom Brady is the sentimental favorite and things like that here. I think they're gonna stick it to this team. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I look forward to watching it. Also make sure that if you're watching this episode, go check out SG Live. It's another we broke apart the show that we were doing, over the past few months with a business video, a business podcast video chat that we do called Statement Games Live, and then we've got Making Picks now. So check that out. Link will be in the show notes. Follow on all social media at Statement Games. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where you're watching this, Statement Games Inc., Statement Games, all one word. And obviously play Statement Games on desktop and mobile, statementgames.com or the iTunes or Google Play Store. But with that, Mark, looking forward to seeing this game, last football game of the season. And then we've got some time before we're doing that. So we are going to be talking NHL, NBA. I guess I'll have to figure out some picks for golf, maybe. Are we
yeah? I mean, we'll have the Masters in March. I mean, that's kind of right around the corner. Maybe some fights. I don't know. Maybe little UFC action. We're
going to be expanding my sports.
We have plenty of things to cover.
Yep. All right, man. Catch you next week.
I'll catch you later. Have a good one.